We are potentially nearing the end of the failed presidential campaign from the Senator Tim Scott. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video today. It is time that we talk about the 2024 Republican presidential primary. Because everyone, it appears that the failed presidential campaign known as Tim Scott, or soon-to-be failure of a campaign, is on its last leg. As by all accounts, many people are starting to realize, yeah, this campaign, it's not looking too good. And it appears that Tim Scott is, it seems like, very close to dropping out. When you think about it, it's absolutely crazy that he's even going to consider dropping out this early. Because think about it. He got tens of millions of dollars. No, hundreds of millions of dollars from super PACs, the money laundering scheme they pulled in 2022, etc. I knew he was never going to win, but it's just baffling that we're not even in November, and it seems like this campaign, it's done. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you can join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content that we all know and love. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody. So again, this isn't the biggest surprise in the world, but it's still just, when you factor in how much money this campaign has spent so far, and the fact that you're probably going to drop out before even November? Who would have thought this would have happened this quickly? I thought, okay, he was going to probably last till Iowa, do an okay performance considering, but then get walloped in New Hampshire. Then he would probably drop out. He's not even going to make it to Iowa at this point. So let's look at it. Tim Scott's old friend and former colleague in the Senate, Cory Garner, kept pleading with him to go on TV more. And again, as everybody probably knows, I'm a big fan of Cory Garner. I think he was a good senator from the state of Colorado. And of course, he did endorse Tim Scott for his campaign. And he's 100% right. This campaign, I don't know what the hell they're doing. Like, say what you will about Fox News, but has Tim Scott been on Fox News, like, at all this entire time? Like, yeah, Fox News sucks, but all these other candidates, they're going on, like, every other hour. They're on Fox News, MSNBC, whatever. Tim Scott, when was the last time he was on Fox News on a regular basis? It was one thing, Garner told Scott in multiple recent conversations, to appear regularly on Fox News, according to two people familiar with knowledge of the talks. But a wider audience would form high opinions of Scott, Garner suggested, if they actually saw and heard from him as a presidential candidate, which is true. You know, it doesn't matter how much money you spend. If you don't do any media appearances, it's like, people are not going to really be able to gauge who you are. How are you? Like, yeah, he was on the debate stage, but it's like, that can only get you so far. If you're not doing any interviews, it just doesn't make any sense. In a strategy shift, Scott over the past 2 weeks has done just that, appearing 8 times on CNN, CBS, ABC, and CNBC after spending a summer engaging almost exclusively with the conservative press. The shakeup may come too late to energize Scott's faltering campaign. After months of staying out of the conversation, the South Carolina senator is now sputtering below 2% in national polls. That should tell you everything. I really did think that Tim Scott, he was going to do better than people thought. But his campaign has stunk. No media appearances, you know. The ad spending's been a disaster. I mean, the debates were awful. Like, some of the good parts of Tim Scott's campaign was God, bringing back religion to society. But it seems like he has all but abandoned that. Like, what? It doesn't make any sense what this campaign has done. On Saturday, Scott's hometown newspaper called for the Republican field to coalesce not around Scott, but around rival South Carolinian Nikki Haley to take on Trump directly. His own hometown newspaper saying, we're not supporting you. You're at 2%. Get out. Drop out for Nikki Haley. I mean, that should tell you everything about this disastrous campaign. Even some prominent Scott fans are beginning to acknowledge Scott's presidential campaign has been a disappointment, and that his path forward appears dim. It absolutely has been. He was never going to win, but nobody thought he was going to be only at 2% when DeSantis has completely collapsed. Like, your whole goal was win Iowa, or at least do really good in Iowa. You're not even in, like, the top 5 anymore, when that should be arguably your strongest state outside of South Carolina. In talking to people here at home, what they have told me is that it's unfortunate that Tim that they know in South Carolina is not the Tim that people may be perceiving in Iowa, New Hampshire, and other states, said Mark Sanford, the former South Carolina Republican governor, and blah, 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 aka a big loser. Senator John Cornyn praised his colleague as a spokesman for the Reagan hopeful, optimistic message, but conceded that it hasn't seemed to convince the party's voters. It's as if this isn't 1986. This is 2023. Like, the good parts of Scott's campaign was related to religion, to God, bringing back hope and all that stuff. Where's that gone? Has he talked about it at all since his announcement? I'm being dead serious. I haven't heard him talk about it, like, basically at all. I'm disappointed because he's such a terrific guy and he's got a great message, he said. And I actually kind of agree that some of his message is good. Optimism, hope, hey, we need to be a Christian country again. We got to bring back, hope again. But where has that gone? Asked if he hopes Scott can stay in the race until Iowa, Cornyn demurred, at some point there's going to have to be a consolidation when the outcome is inevitable. It wasn't so long ago that expectation for Scott ran sky high. South Dakota's John Thune, the number 2 Senate Republican, gave the opening prayer at Scott's campaign launch. Larry Ellison, the billionaire founder of Oracle, was in the crowd, one of many donors intrigued by the project's Senate fundraiser. But guess what? It turns out, being a good fundraiser for a Senate campaign, even though that was handed to you on a freaking platter. I mean, let's be real. He was gift-wrapped tens of millions of dollars for nothing. Well, guess what? Doesn't mean that he's automatically a great candidate. I mean, he's had to run in South Carolina his entire life. That's not a challenge. I mean, he was, like, appointed as a South Carolina senator. It's just like, yeah, you get a heads up on that one. You just start looking at it, and it's been a mess. And then you look at his first debate performance, which was highly anticipated, and many people thought Scott was going to outshine everybody. He did nothing. He had an absolute garbage debate performance. It just wasn't charismatic. It wasn't energetic. It wasn't optimistic. It was nothing. And it's getting to a point where his super PAC, the one that's giving tens of millions of dollars, announced they are canceling all their advertising spending for the fall months. Yep. Their super PAC, the one that is bankrolling the campaign. They're saying, it's done. It's over. We're not going to waste our money anymore. This is ridiculous. So the Tim Scott campaign essentially has understood they're screwed and they have no pathway. Compare that to the DeSantis campaign. We're down by 60, but we could still come back from this. We just need 3 more months. It's not going to happen. It's just a complete and total disaster when your super PAC is saying, this ship has sailed, it's done, pack it up, so prepare for 4 years from now, it's over. And on top of that, Scott is yet to qualify for the third Republican debate. However, it appears he's on track to do so, but he's barely going to make it if he does. A person with knowledge of Scott's campaign operations told Politico that the RNC has confirmed to the campaign that a little-noticed poll conducted by YouGov and the Liberal Patriot satisfies the committee's polling requirement for the debate. However, Scott still must cross the committee's 70,000 donor threshold before the November 6th deadline. And this is the problem with Tim Scott's campaign, Ron DeSantis's, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence. You know what their problem is? All their donors are from big ones. They're from like 3,000 plus. I think that's the exact number, right? Well, whatever the threshold is for the maximum contribution. Well, virtually, yeah, they got a lot of donors early on and a lot of money. Problem is, two things. One, a lot of that money cannot be used until the general election. Yeah. That it's maxed out their contributions, not for the primary, but also for the general. So that number's inflated. And two, there's not a lot of big donors. Trump has hundreds of thousands, if not millions of small donors that give him like $5-10 a month. Tim Scott, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, they don't got that. They don't got the grassroots small donor base that Trump does. So he may reach the polling threshold, but the donor threshold, he's not at it right now. And the campaign is saying that he'll be on the debate stage in Miami, but the fact that you're somebody that has national name ID, that raked in tens of millions of dollars last year because of, well, a scam that some of the Republican Senate committee pulled. Either way, that's a different story, but the fact that if you qualify, you're going to barely do it, that's pathetic. But getting on the debate stage is one thing. Nothing Scott has done the first two debates appears to have helped his standing, which is true. I mean, what did he say other than complain about, Nikki Haley buying curtains? Like, that's your message? Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Tim Scott, but it's like, his announcement was decent, I guess. There was some positive messages, something different. But at the debate stage, it was just like, you listen to Ron DeSantis' people about how to debate prep. Whoever you listen to, fire them. But either way, folks, it's just the Tim Scott campaign existed, and it's not looking too good for his campaign. It seems inevitable that he will drop out, which I still can't get over. If he does drop out before Iowa, that would be a pathetic, absolutely pathetic performance. All that money wasted for that. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.